When we look at our lives, we can see many moments where things did not go as we hoped. Maybe you lost a job, or someone you loved disappointed you. Perhaps your health changed, or your plans suddenly fell apart. It is very natural to feel upset or frustrated in these times. We might think, this should not be happening. We try to push the situation away, or pretend it is not real. But when we fight against what is happening, it often only brings us more pain. There is a different way. Acceptance does not mean that we like everything that happens. It does not mean we have to give up or agree with everything. It simply means seeing reality as it is, right now, without trying to change it with our thoughts. This can be difficult, especially when we face loss or sadness. But accepting what is happening is the first step toward inner freedom. When we accept, we stop wasting energy on resistance. Instead, we can use that energy to respond more wisely. Think of a river flowing. If you put a large stone in the water, the river does not try to move the stone. It flows around it, finding a new path. In the same way, when we accept what life brings, we can find new ways forward. We are not trapped by what has happened. We are free to move with life. Acceptance is powerful because it allows us to start from a place of truth. When we see things clearly, we can make better choices. We find more peace, even in difficult times. Acceptance is not always easy, but it is always possible, and it is the first step to saying yes to what is. Many people wonder why it is so hard to accept things as they are. We all have hopes, dreams, and expectations about how life should be. From a young age, we learn to imagine our future and to work for what we want. There is nothing wrong with having goals or wanting a good life. But sometimes, our attachment to our own ideas makes it hard to accept when life goes a different way. We often struggle against reality because we believe that things must go our way for us to be happy. When something unexpected happens, we might feel that life is unfair. We can become angry or sad, or we might blame ourselves or others. This reaction is very normal. Our minds are used to thinking in terms of good or bad, right or wrong. But life is not always so simple. There are many things we cannot control, no matter how hard we try. When we refuse to accept what is happening, we may start to feel stressed or anxious. We may replay old events in our minds, or worry about what might happen next. This can take a lot of energy and can even affect our health. The more we resist, the more difficult things seem. It is like pulling on a rope that will never break. Our hands get tired, but the situation stays the same. If we look honestly at our own lives, we can see that many of our struggles come from fighting against reality. By noticing this pattern, we can begin to let go of some of our suffering. The world does not always match our ideas, and that is okay. When we stop struggling so much, we create more space for peace and understanding in our hearts. When we hear the word yield, we might think it means giving up or being weak. But in the teachings of Buddhism, yielding is actually a sign of great wisdom and strength. To yield does not mean to surrender our values or to let others walk over us. It means to move with life instead of always trying to control it. Sometimes, yielding is the wisest thing we can do. Imagine a tree in a strong wind. A tree that is too stiff will break, but a tree that can bend with the wind will survive. In the same way, when we face hard situations, it is not always helpful to stand against them with force. By yielding, we allow ourselves to adapt and to find new ways to grow. This does not mean we accept injustice or ignore what is wrong. It simply means we do not waste our energy fighting against things we cannot change. There is a quiet wisdom in learning when to yield. It takes patience and humility to accept that we do not have control over everything. But when we practice this way of living, we become more at ease. We can respond to difficulties with a calm mind, and we can choose how to act instead of just reacting. Yielding also helps us understand others better. When we stop pushing our own ideas so strongly, we can listen more deeply. We see that everyone is facing their own challenges, just like we are. This gentle attitude makes our relationships stronger and helps us connect with people in a more peaceful way. Choosing to yield is not always easy, but it opens the door to greater freedom and wisdom. It is one of the keys to saying yes to what is, and to living a life that is less troubled by struggle. One of the greatest challenges in life is knowing what we can change and what we cannot. Many people spend a lot of time and energy trying to control things that are, in truth, beyond their reach. It is easy to think that if we just try harder or worry more, things will turn out the way we want. But life often has its own plans, and there are some things we cannot change, no matter what we do. For example, we cannot control the actions or feelings of others. We cannot change the weather, stop time from passing, or prevent every difficulty from coming our way. Sometimes, even our own minds and bodies do not do what we wish. When we try to control the uncontrollable, we often feel stressed, disappointed, or powerless. Recognizing what is beyond our control is not about giving up. It is about seeing reality clearly and acting with wisdom. When we can tell the difference between what we can and cannot change, we become more peaceful. We stop blaming ourselves or others for things that are simply part of life. We start to focus our attention on what we truly can influence, our own actions, our attitude, and how we respond to what happens. This understanding brings relief. It helps us to let go of worries that are not helpful and to spend our energy where it matters. When we accept that some things are out of our hands, we are not being passive. We are choosing to be realistic and kind to ourselves. In this way, we open our hearts to life as it is, and we learn to say yes to both the joys and the challenges that come our way. Many of us spend much of our time thinking about the past or worrying about the future. We remember things that went wrong, or we hope that something better will come. This is very natural, but it can make it hard to feel calm and happy right now. The present moment is often the only place where we can truly find peace. When we pay attention to what is happening right now, we can see that life is always changing. Good moments come and go, and so do difficult times. Nothing stays the same forever. If we spend too much time wishing for the past or waiting for the future, we miss the beauty of what is in front of us. Finding peace in the present moment does not mean that everything in our life has to be perfect. It means we are willing to be with things just as they are, without running away or wishing things were different. Even if there is pain or sadness, we can notice that we are still here, still breathing, still alive. This simple awareness can bring a sense of calm and strength. When we come back to the present moment, we give ourselves a break from our worries and regrets. We can notice small things, maybe the sound of birds, the feeling of our feet on the ground, or the way the light changes in the room. These small details help us remember that life is happening now, not just in our memories or our plans. Every time we return to the present, we find a little more peace. We see that we do not have to wait for everything to be perfect before we can feel calm. By choosing to be present, we say yes to life as it is, and we open the door to true peace within ourselves. It is natural for us to resist things we do not like. When something painful happens, our first reaction might be to push it away or to pretend it is not there. We might think, if I fight hard enough, maybe this problem will disappear. But the more we resist, the more energy we use, and the more suffering we often create for ourselves. Letting go of resistance does not mean we have to be happy about everything that happens. It simply means we stop fighting with reality. When we let go, we allow ourselves to feel whatever is here, without judgment or denial. This does not make us weak. It actually takes courage to face things as they are. Sometimes, resistance comes from fear. We may be afraid of change, loss, or not getting what we want. These fears can make us hold on tightly, hoping to control every part of our lives. But life does not always follow our plans, and holding on too tightly can make us feel even more out of control. When we begin to notice our own resistance, we can gently ask ourselves, what am I holding on to? Is this helping me or making things harder? With this kind and honest attitude, we can slowly release our grip. It may not happen all at once, but each small step brings more ease. Letting go of resistance creates space for new possibilities. We may find that we can handle challenges better, or that our hearts feel lighter. We become more flexible, more open to change, and more at peace with the ups and downs of life. In this way, we learn to say yes to what is, and we discover a quieter, deeper strength within ourselves. When difficult things happen, it is easy to feel unlucky, or to wonder why life is so hard. We may ask ourselves, why is this happening to me? Or, what did I do to deserve this? These thoughts are very natural, especially when we are in pain or facing something we did not expect. But from the Buddhist point of view, challenges in life are not just problems to be avoided. They can also be our greatest teachers. Every person faces challenges, no matter who they are. It might be a loss, a disappointment, a mistake, or a time of loneliness. These experiences are part of being human. Even though we do not wish for them, they can help us grow if we are willing to learn from them. When we look at our challenges with an open mind, we might discover something new about ourselves. We may see how strong we really are, or learn how to be more patient. Sometimes, a difficult experience can show us what is truly important in life. We may even become more understanding toward others who are suffering. Seeing challenges as teachers does not mean we have to be happy about them. It means we are open to the lessons they bring. Instead of just wishing for our problems to go away, we can ask, what can I learn from this? This question can change our whole attitude. Life is always changing, and there will always be both good times and hard times. If we can welcome our challenges as teachers, we find a new kind of freedom. We are not trapped by our difficulties. We are learning and growing through them. This is another way to say yes to what is, and to live with a wise and open heart. Life is always changing, and sometimes it feels like everything around us is uncertain. We might face changes in our work, in our family, or even in our own health. It is easy to feel unsteady when things are shifting so quickly. Many people try to find security in outside things, money, status, or the approval of others. But true stability comes from inside, not from the world around us. Cultivating inner stability means developing a strong and steady heart. It does not mean we never feel sad or worried. Instead, it means that even when difficult things happen, we do not get lost in them. We can feel our emotions, but we are not completely controlled by them. Just like a mountain stands firm through wind and rain. We can learn to stay steady in the middle of life's ups and downs. This kind of stability is built over time. It grows as we practice seeing things clearly and responding calmly. We learn to trust ourselves, even when we do not have all the answers. When we face a problem, we remind ourselves, this is hard, but I can handle it. Each time we meet a challenge and keep going, our inner stability grows stronger. Inner stability also helps us to be kinder to ourselves. We realize that it is okay to feel uncertain or afraid sometimes. We do not have to be perfect. By accepting ourselves just as we are, we find a deep strength that does not depend on what happens around us. When we have this stability inside, life's storms do not shake us so much. We can stay calm and open, saying yes to whatever comes our way. In this way, we live with greater confidence and peace, no matter what changes life brings. Many people spend a lot of energy trying to make life fit their wishes. We make plans, set goals, and work hard to create the life we want. There is nothing wrong with wanting good things for ourselves and our loved ones. However, when we hold too tightly to our own ideas of how things should be, we often feel disappointed or upset when life does not go our way. Living in harmony with life means allowing ourselves to move with the natural flow of events. Instead of fighting against what is happening, we can choose to work with it. This does not mean we have to give up on our dreams or become passive. It simply means we pay attention to what life is showing us and respond with an open mind. Sometimes life brings opportunities we did not expect. Other times, it brings challenges or changes that we would rather avoid. If we can meet each moment as it is, we discover a gentle strength inside ourselves. We can make wise decisions without becoming too attached to a certain outcome. We are able to enjoy the good moments more deeply and accept the hard times with greater patience. Harmony with life also means respecting the experiences of others. Everyone is walking their own path, facing their own joys and struggles. When we recognize this, we become less judgmental and more understanding. Our relationships grow stronger, and we feel more connected to the people around us. Choosing to live in harmony with life is a daily practice. It is not always easy, but it brings a sense of freedom and peace that cannot be found by forcing things to go our way. By saying yes to what is, we allow ourselves to live more fully, appreciating each moment for what it truly is. Each day brings its own mix of experiences, some pleasant, some difficult, and many that are simply ordinary. Saying yes to what is does not mean we have to agree with everything, or that we stop caring about our hopes and dreams. Instead, it means meeting each moment with openness, patience, and respect. This is a gentle way to live, and it helps us to find meaning and peace, no matter what comes our way. When we practice accepting life as it is, we start to notice small moments of beauty, even on ordinary days. We become more patient with ourselves and others. We discover that we do not need to wait for the perfect time to feel calm or content. Peace is always possible, right here and now, when we welcome life just as it is. Some days will be easier than others. There will be times when acceptance feels natural, and other times when it is much harder. This is normal. Each moment gives us another chance to practice. Over time, we may find that life feels lighter and our hearts become more open. We are less troubled by what we cannot change and more grateful for what we have. Before I finish, I would like to express my deep gratitude to everyone who has supported this channel. Your kind words, your likes, subscribing to the channel, leaving comments, and using super thanks, or joining the membership, all mean a great deal to me. It is truly encouraging to know that these teachings can be shared and received with such warmth. Thank you very much for being here and for walking this path together. May each of us find peace by saying yes to what is, and may our days be touched by wisdom and kindness.